So Corey, we have a question from a viewer called Pluto is still a planet, and he asked, "You ask your girl out, she doesn't answer. Should you ask again in 1 to 2 weeks or let it go?"
So, as I discuss in 3% Man, you got to give a woman two chances. Because the reality is, you want somebody that when you ask them out, they're like, hell yeah, I'd love to go out on a date with you. You don't want, I don't know, maybe call me before just to double check to make sure I'm available. If she's not excited to see you and make plans with you and is not proud to go out on a date with you, why would you want to spend your time and your money with somebody like that? And so you'll give her two chances because maybe she's in a different headspace. Maybe you ask her out and she's grumpy, or maybe she just heard from an ex or the guy that blew her off a few months ago that she really liked, and she's hoping to get another chance with him. And so she's clearing her schedule, and that happens to be the time you come around and you ask her out, and she's thinking, wow, things are going to progress with this other guy. And she blows you off. Maybe she doesn't call you back, or maybe she tells you she can't, or just gives you some kind of, gives you the runaround, does anything but make a date with you. And, or that she tries to make a date, she gives you a maybe date. Oh, it's like, when are you available? Oh, Friday, maybe. Why don't you call me Friday afternoon just to make sure we'll nail things down then? You hear something like that, that's basically and you agree to it, you're telling her that you're willing to be an option in her life, and therefore your time is not really valuable. And if you don't value your own time, then nobody else will either. If you allow somebody to waste your time because no one will ever do or say anything to you that you don't invite them to do, then your time's not valuable. Then they can always have you, and you want somebody that's excited to be with you. And so if you get turned down, I'd wait 2 weeks, ask her out again. Maybe she's in a different headspace then, and she might say yes. Maybe by that time, the other guy that she was thinking it was going to work out with, maybe he goes cold again, or maybe he did something that pissed her off. And then you ask her out, she's thinking, well, you know what? That guy's persistent. I like his confidence. I'm going to give him a shot. We'll see what happens. See if I like him. See if he's a good fit for me. And then she goes out with you. But if she gives you the same thing on the second date that you try to make, then you flush the number and just move on with your life. Because again, you want enthusiasm. And she, on 2 occasions, showed zero enthusiasm. So if you're not excited about spending time with me, then I'm not going to be excited about spending time with you. And I'm going to move on because there's another bus every 15 minutes. And you just keep moving. And then 2 or 3 months down the road, when you've long since kind of forgotten about her and you've deleted her from your phone and she texts you, hey, which is typically girls' favorite pickup line, hey. And then you're like, who's this?
Mm.
She's like, what? Oh, this is so-and-so. Oh, where do I know you from? And then because that communicates something on some level. Wow, you really weren't even important enough to that guy to keep her number around. Rejection breeds obsession. And she may be in a different headspace. Maybe when you first met her, she was still getting over somebody else. You just don't know. But the bottom line is, you asked twice. I would say if you get shot down the first time, wait 2 weeks, try once more. And then if you still get the same wishy-washy response, delete the number and move on. And then it's on her. Because the strongest negotiating position is being able to walk away and mean it. And you never want to try to keep somebody in your life who doesn't want to keep you and theirs.
I actually had a thing where I was asking out this girl, and then she texted back at first, "I work the rest of the week," and at first, and that's like, okay. So if they're just saying I work the rest of the week and there's no plans open, that's a 10 out of 10. They're just shooting you down nicely. 30 minutes later, though, they're like, "I'm busy this weekend, but we should do happy hour soon." So I was like, I just felt relieved. That's the thing.
Well, at the end of the day, which I kind of, when she's saying I don't have anything open this week, you got to think of yourself, because my background is in sales, and the whole point of sales, and if you guys have ever bought a new car before, when you call the dealer, what are they trying to do? They want to get you to come in to look at it, because people that buy cars and they make commissions on come into the dealership for a test drive or to come look at the cars they got. People that are just kicking tires and wasting time, they're just going to call and talk, and you're going to get nowhere with them. And so as the leader, because that might be a test, she might think, he's kind of cute. Maybe I go out with him. I might sleep with him or whatever. but she's got other guys that she likes more, and so she throws something like that there. But your job is to be direct, decisive, and get to the point. You want to know, are you in or you out? Do you want to go out with me or not? Are you in or you out? And so when she gives you that as a salesperson who, because you sell face to face, which obviously in this case the product is you,
Yeah.
the hunk of chunk.
He works out so
The
well.
hunk of chunk is the product, which is you. And so you need to be face to face in order to close the sale. And so she just said, I'm not available this week. And then so the response would be, well, when are you available next week or the week after? Give me some dates when you are definitely free. And then you wait and see what she says. And if she's like, I don't know, I'm not sure, my schedule's up in the air, she's basically saying, you're not important enough to me to make that. Oh, why don't you call me in a few weeks, or maybe we'll figure it out then. If she's not willing to make definite plans, then you have to assume she's a tire kicker. And then so when you get that kind of response, I would just say, well, hey, figure out your schedule and get back to me, and we'll plan something then. And then you just leave it at that. Or you can say, no problem. Well, it sounds like you're real jammed up. Let's just do it another night. You can do that too. But the first things first is I would try to get her to give me dates when she is definitely available. And if she still gives you the runaround and won't do that, that shows a lack of interest.
Yeah.
It shows it shows an unwillingness to make you a priority. And so therefore, you're going to match and mirror that behavior. And then you're going to make it easy for her to follow through on plans or to flake out and disappear from your life forever. Meaning, when you tell her, all right, well, it sounds like you don't know your schedule, so why don't you figure out when you are available and when you can get together, because I would love to see you. And then we'll plan something then. And that's, in essence, hitting the ball over the net. And she might go, sounds good. And so in that situation, I'm never going to call or text her again for any reason, because I want to spend my time with somebody that's excited to be with me. And if she never gets in touch again, well, she wasn't into you enough, because you want somebody that'll play tennis, that'll, in essence, make the mutual effort. When you tell her to get in touch when she figures her schedule out, you want to hear from her in 2 to 3 weeks, and she's not going to go, hey, I got my schedule. Typically, she'll just go, hey, the typical girl pickup line, or the typical girl opening response, which is lazy because you guys can get away with it. But at the end of the day, if she says, hey, and she's reaching out, direct, decisive again, you're going to go, then my response back is going to be, hey, what'd you figure out for your schedule so we can get together? That's it. You're not going to be like, hey, how you been? And none of that bullshit. You're right to the point, because you're showing your time is valuable. Let's make a date. And if she goes, I don't know, I'm not sure, but I want to see how you're doing. What she's doing in that case is there's probably somebody else she's interested in, and she's stirring the pot to see if you're still potentially a backup for her. And again, that's why you go direct to make a date. And then if she gives you the runaround, just say, hey, well, figure out your schedule and get back to me. And then if she reaches out again a few weeks later and goes, hey, same pickup line, which is typically what they'll do, assume she's checked your schedule and now is ready to make a date. And then you go right in again. Hey, what'd you figure out in your schedule so we can get together? And she goes, oh, things have been real crazy. My life is crazy right now. When you hear something like that, you're like, hey, no problem. Figure it out and get back to me. And then from that point forward, you're never going to bring up getting together again unless she brings it up first. So a couple weeks go by after that, and she's like, hey, gives you the same thing again. You're like, hey, hope you're doing great. Nice to hear from you. Got to run. Talk to you later. And then you're going to, you might send a couple messages back and forth, but then you're going to be like, hey, got to run. Great hearing from you. Keep in touch kind of thing. And one of two things will happen when you're doing that. She'll either go, hey, well, I was thinking, I finally checked my schedule. And then she'll bring up, or hey, I'd like to see you. Or hey, we should get together for that drink or whatever it is. Then I would try to make a date. But, like I said, if she doesn't ever do that, then when she is reaching out and then you never bring up getting together again, eventually she'll just stop contacting you.